in South Africa, which is amazing. 3 years ago, but let me start a little bit more before that. Our company, we provide services for artists as well as corporate America. We book a lot of the talent for some of the big events throughout the year, whether it's Super Bowl, whether it's the NBA All-Star, MLB Summer Games, even some Olympic events, we've even done that. So we book a lot of the talent for that. So for the last 6 years, we've been doing that consistently every Super Bowl weekend. So we started doing a lot of community initiatives and different works with different artists throughout those same weekends. And we said, we're providing all these services for these companies, why don't we kind of create our own platform, our own structure and blueprint of what we see all the time helping these people do community initiatives. So in Houston was our very first Power of Influence Awards. And this is when we knew we were onto something. We had no money. This was a brand new award. It had no validity. Nobody knew where this award was coming from. Mathew Knowles funded our entire awards. He allowed us to do it in Rice Mansion in Houston. Paid for everything. He believed in the vision initially. He was our Lifetime Achievement Award because it was in Houston, and he's such a pillar in Houston. So that's how it was first created. We had artists, big name artists, come and perform for no money. They actually believed in the vision of community and doing work and providing for kids and giving back. This is the first year. T.I. was the first artist to actually agree to do the Power of Influence Awards. Didn't ask any questions. We just believe in what you're trying to do. So our first year we did T.I., Jordin Sparks, super producer Brian Michael Cox, Mathew Knowles, and 2 huge football players that's based out of Houston, which was Chester Pitts and Whitney Merciless, who's a Pro Bowl level player. That was our first year. So throughout that course of the year, you kind of try to figure out like, what is your platform going to be based on? So throughout that year, we started doing our own work in the community, whether it was turkey drives, coat drives, raising money for youth centers all across the country because I travel a lot with the artists. So that started to become our initial platform that very first year. So second year, we were like, where do we go from our inaugural? And I had a deep heart-to-heart conversation with Kevin Hart. I told Kevin, I said, who was someone I work with regularly. He has an agent, so I'll explain kind of what I do with Kevin. What we do with him is, you have an agency like CAA, William Morris, that provides the bulk of their money. They book them to do movies, they book them to do big appearances. But what the agencies don't do is, a lot of these talented performers have stuff that moves them spiritually. Like they want to go and give back. They want to go and donate their time. But guess what? CAA doesn't make any money doing that. So that's not their agenda. But that's how we come in and we provide those services. So I went to Kevin, I told him what I wanted to do, and he was like, I support it. And that was the award that really set us on our way, because Kevin Hart is probably the biggest star in the world right now. So he hosted our awards, he received his awards, and then he basically helped me get all the talent for our second one, which was incredible. Then that led to New York, where I'm from. And I said, you know what, in June, there's something called, which I hate when they try to give us like a month of stuff that's good to do. And they say it's Black Music Month in June. I'm like, talk, you know how much music we done created and everybody else is stealing from? You gonna give us a month, Black Music Month, right? So in New York City, it's called Black Music Month. And the mayor of New York City agreed to host our awards at New York City Hall. Wow. And that was the start where we really started to see that we really might be onto something, because it was the first time a quote-unquote black event happened on the steps of City Hall, and then they allowed us to do a lavish dinner at the Tweed building at City Hall. So that, we honored Lil Kim, which is a legend in New York. We did Angela Simmons, who is a great philanthropist. I don't think a lot of people really understand a lot of work that she does. There's a fashion icon that you're probably familiar with by the name of Dapper Dan, who is like on fire right now with Gucci. He's now like one of the directors and ambassadors for Gucci at this moment. So we caught him at like his peak. So we really had everybody in New York City come and attend that. So that's when we knew we was on to something. Then we did one more before we got here, again a special edition. We did Essence Festival, which is one of the biggest music festivals in New Orleans. And we honored Teddy Riley, which is probably one of the greatest musical legends other than Quincy Jones, right? So that year we created the Quincy Jones Lifetime Achievement Award, and he was the first one to receive that. That brings us to South Africa. Yay. This is a crazy story. I had no idea that this would become what we're doing right now in South Africa. Because there was a fateful connection between me and this gentleman that was crazy. Never underestimate the power of social media. Don't worry about Shade Room. You can go check Shade Room for all the gossip and all that. That's cool. But if you really use social media for what it is and really connect with people, and you're building with people with like minds in business, you'll be amazed where it can take you. Sunil and I connected on Instagram. Wow. I'm in New York City. This man is in South Africa. And he says, hey man, I like what you're doing. It's cool stuff. But we didn't really connect, because I'm like, okay, I can't, what can I do for you? Like, you over half the world away. I'm in New York. But I checked him out. I said, oh, he's kind of cool, man. He's doing a lot of these top crazy business ventures. And I'm like, that's dope. But that's how we initially connected. Then when he came to New York, he was always like, we gotta connect. I'm going to the United Nations. I'm gonna go speak here. I'm gonna go here. I'm like, hey, do you wanna come to the Kevin Hart thing? We just kept missing each other, but we stood in contact. I put a post on Instagram that I said, you know what, I want to go to South Africa during Nelson Mandela's 100th Centennial because Mandela is a hero to me. I mean, I love this man, everything that he stood for, sacrificed so much. I've been here before. My good friend Lee, she's over there. Last time I was here, she's the one that took me to Nelson Mandela's house. Took me to Soweto, showed me so much history here in Johannesburg. So I fell in love with the city. And when I found out they were celebrating his 100th, I said, I'm just gonna go out there. I just wanna just go out there and experience it and soak it all in and have some kind of, connections to Global Citizen. And I said, let's just make a whole week of it. And from that, spark became, why are you not doing the awards out here? There's something missing, you can kind of do something to offset things and you can come out here and give back to some people and let's try to build this. And it literally came together in days. But it would not have been possible at all if it wasn't for the Guinness Foundation and the Guinness family. So I have to say thank you. Because I tell this to people all the time. They reach out to me about music business related stuff and how do I get a deal and how do I do this movie? Can you present this to people? I tell people all the time, never give up on your dream and never be afraid to dream because you never know who will see your dream and actually believe in it just as much as you do. And it came to several conversations with Sheena, who I love, and Sunil, and they told me, we believe in your dream. We believe in what you're doing. And sometimes it takes just that one person to keep pushing you and pushing you to keep trying to achieve greatness. So that's how the Power Influence Award started. And now we're here in South Africa. I can't believe we're doing this on this level, this short term. And it's amazing.